Hello, my friends. J.R. Dukes here. Appreciate you joining me. We are going to go live right now where President Biden is hosting the Prime Minister of Australia. And we're going to go live right now on a live feed so that we can hear the comments. So let's listen and we will talk accordingly.
Time and time again, we've seen what America and Australia can do when we stand as one. We saw it during World War I, when our troops helped turn the tide of war on the Western Front. We saw it during World War II, when we fought the forces of fascism side by side in the Pacific, cementing a mateship between our people. And we saw it again during the war against terror, when Australia invoked the AUKUS Treaty for the first time to stand with the United States after we were attacked on 9/11. And we'll never forget those brave Australians and Americans who, generation after generation, gave their lives to give us a better world. We'll never forget our obligation to them to keep upholding the democratic values for which they gave their lives, to keep forging a better future for generations to come. Together, Australia and America are meeting that obligation. As two proud Pacific nations, we're ensuring the Indo-Pacific remains free, open, and prosperous and secure, including through our historic AUKUS partnership with the United Kingdom. We're building stronger economies where no one fears coercion and everyone, as you say down under, gets a fair go. Together, we're standing with Israel against Hamas terrorism. We're standing with Ukraine against Putin's tyranny. And we're providing and proving that democracy can deliver on the challenges that matter most to people's lives, from climate change to cancer. And today, we're fueling the spark of innovation that has long burned in the hearts of Aussies and Americans. Innovation that will help uplift people in the Indo-Pacific and all around the world. Innovation that took us to the moon will take us further in the years ahead. Mr. Prime Minister, the alliance between Australia and the United States has never been more important than it is today. And we have never been more committed than we are today. Australia and America stand ready to do the hard work, the historic work, to tackle the challenges we face. Ready to take a giant leap together toward a better future. One of greater opportunity, dignity, security, and liberty. For Americans, for Australians, for all. May God bless our alliance, and may God protect our troops. And now it's my great honor to introduce Prime Minister Albanese, and I'm honored to invite you to say a few words. Thank you.
President Biden, First Lady Dr. Biden, firstly, thank you for the great honour of this invitation and the wonderful warmth of your welcome, including the wonderful dinner we had in the White House last night. Mr. President, when you and I stood together in San Diego in March, the USS Sterett and the USS Missouri behind us, we were surrounded by the examples of America's power. To stand with you here in Washington, D.C. is to witness the power of America's example, the ideas and ideals that your great democracy was built on, the self-evident truths that every American generation strives to give deeper meaning, and the peace and freedom that America seeks to defend around the globe. The principle that every country, large and small, should be able to seek to shape its own destiny and secure its own future, where the sovereignty of every nation is respected, and the dignity and liberty of every individual is recognised. Where peace is secured, not by fear of force or strength of arms alone, but through the collective commitment and the shared responsibility of the international community. This is at the heart of our alliance, the soul of our partnership, not a pact against a common enemy, a pledge to a common cause, a shared belief that freedom, peace and equality are not just American ideals or Australian values, they belong to all humankind. That is why Ukrainian soldiers are driving Australian-made Bushmasters as they drive back an illegal and immoral invasion. And it is why all Australians condemn the atrocities, terror and pitiless brutality of Hamas. And Mr. President, we applaud the personal resolve you have brought to this troubled part of the world. You have spoken with moral clarity and you have stood up for a simple principle. The principle that every innocent life matters, Israeli and Palestinian, and that in every conflict, every effort must be made to protect civilians. American leadership is indispensable, but it is not inevitable. It takes a leader to deliver it. It takes wisdom to show empathy, courage to provide humanitarian assistance, and true leadership to seek peace, because protecting innocent people is not a show of weakness, it is a measure of strength. Mr. President, our nation's steadfast alliance has grown and thrived through 15 of my predecessors and 13 of yours. In Australian public life, it meets the #1 measure of a great idea. Both political parties try and claim credit for it. But it is not, and it has never been, the leaders at this podium who determine the strength and success of our alliance. It is the people we serve. Presidents and Prime Ministers can praise our country's shared values. We can sign agreements to advance our common interests. But it is our citizens who make the words a bond. It is our people whose courage and ambition, hard work and aspiration give life and weight to all we share and all we strive for. Sometimes we casually refer to average Americans or everyday Australians, but what they do every day is anything but average. It is our people making the breakthroughs that are seeing Australia and the United States cooperate in new technology like never before, from quantum computing and medical science to agriculture and defence. It's our people driving unprecedented collaboration in our creative industries, in art and film and music, from Barbie to Bluey. It is our people partnering to unlock the possibilities of clean energy and critical minerals. The third pillar, the new pillar of our alliance, a plan for both our nations to seize the transformative economic opportunities of clean energy, and a plan to help every nation meet the global challenge of climate change. It is our people who will train together, side by side, to service the next generation of our submarines and defence technology. And it is our people that we honour when we remember the generations of Australians and Americans who have fought and fallen together. Our veterans and all those who have given the cause of peace their last full measure of devotion. And Mr. President, in reflecting on this century of service, I'm reminded of a sentiment that you have shared before from an American soldier talking about his time in Iraq. And that sentiment was this: you know, when there's an Australian with you, they'll always have your back. A generous thought from a man of courage and character, Major Beau Biden. Mr. President, You have known far more than life's ordinary share of loss and grief. And you have been called to serve at a time when sadness and strife have cast a long shadow on our world. You understand that the task for all of us is to draw on the strength that hope instills, to look to the future, not just with optimism for better days, but with the determination to build a better world. And while we do indeed face testing times, our friendship is tried and tested. Our people are up for the challenge. Our alliance has been shaped by history and it is ready to shape the future. So with optimism and with determination, let us pledge to make this a time when hope and history rhyme. Let us write the next chapter in our alliance together. I thank you, Mr. President.
Very generous. And besides, you got to vote on it. Besides, and the senior voting, put the history on and carry it.
We'll stay tuned for just a few minutes and see if they go ahead and take questions, which they generally do. But let's give it a minute and we'll stay tuned and see where this goes.
Mr. President, let's conclude the ceremony.
All right, looks like we'll just monitor it from this point forward and see exactly what happens. I'm assuming that soon they will have a press conference together. That's normally what they do, get together and answer the reporters' questions that they may or may not have. A couple of things they did talk about, obviously, is we have a very close relationship with Australia. We've had one for many years, and obviously with all the issues going on in China, the Solomon Islands, and of course Taiwan, it's ever more important that our relationship with Australia is always solid. And we have always, and I hope we continue to always stand shoulder to shoulder, can't speak today, with Australia. It's extremely important. They did talk about a few things that are, we have a lot of areas of cooperation: space, art, film, music, a whole bunch of stuff. And although I may not always agree with President Biden, it was a little bit of a touching moment when the Prime Minister was talking about his late son, Major Beau Biden, and was paying respect to him. So I thought that was kind of a nice touch. At any rate, we are going to be switching over probably to the House of Representatives within the next 10 to 30 minutes. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted when these live things happen. At any rate, appreciate you joining me. And until next time, my friends, I am J.R. Dukes.